Welcome to another episode of Salon Marketing Live. I am Stephanie Mitchell, very excited to be here with you today with Adam from Salon Business Secrets, and we are talking all about events. So live in-person events at your salon and how you can use them to grow your business. And Adam, thank you so much for being here with me today. Yeah.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Yeah, and I was just talking before, your video looks amazing. I try so hard just to have good lighting, and I already up my game so much, and then I call you and I'm like, wow, that is called HD.
I just find if I feel like I look better, I feel like what I'm saying makes more sense to people. It's a weird connection to make in my brain, but I just sort of think if people sort of stop and go, oh, hey, that's pretty good, then they might actually start listening to the stuff I've got to say. So that's the connection.
It does make a difference. So, I mean, whatever you say is great regardless, even if you're in like a dank basement. But, I mean, the video looks great, and I'm so excited to have you do it today. So we're going to jump into the main event, which is events, in just a minute. Mm-hmm. But first, I would love if you could just introduce yourself, tell us where you are, a little bit about yourself, and about your business too.
Sure. Yeah. Well, how long have we got? So my name's Adam Chatterley. I run Salon Business Secrets, which is part free advice service for mainly beauty salon owners, but there's a lot of hair salon and skin clinic owners in there as well. I also run the Beauty Business Podcast, which is my kind of main, information source for getting things out there. I have a number of courses and things like that, and I do consultancy as well. My background is basically I spent the first 15 years of my career working with hotels, 5-star spas around the world, essentially helping them get more streamlined, get clients, become profitable, become more profitable. And I thoroughly enjoyed that. I got to work in some amazing places with big name brands that you'll have heard of. Yeah. But sort of towards the end of that 15 years, I started working with a couple of independents as well. And what I realized was, don't tell any of my corporate clients this, I much prefer working with independents because you can make a real difference really, really quickly.
Yeah.
Whereas with the corporate clients, if anyone's worked in a corporate environment, you go in, you have a meeting, you discuss some ideas, then 3 months later you have a meeting to review those ideas, and then several more meetings. And
it's hard to get them to change. It's like they want to, and maybe they have the budget to, but it's like pushing a rock up a hill.
It is. And then so like 2 years later, you're like, okay, well, we finally got some things implemented. Did any of it make a difference? Or we're not sure because it's 2 years down the line. So I realized I started enjoying working with these independents, and I kind of had this idea where I thought, well, I've been working with these 5-star spas, and I've worked with some incredible managers and some other brilliant business consultants. And I thought, I wonder if I can take these lessons that I've learned working in that environment and kind of teach that to the independents of the world, because I think they probably need it more.
For sure.
So I created Salon Business Secrets and just started writing some articles, and this was before kind of this content strategy was even a thing. I just thought I'll write some articles and I'll hopefully help people, and it kind of turned into this new business for me, and I am thoroughly enjoying it because I get so many more emails from people saying that thing you shared on that podcast, that was amazing, it's changed my business, which I never get from a corporate client. So that's
such a good feeling, like when people, when you can, I mean, especially when you put so much of your life and your soul and yourself into things that you create. I mean, being able to turn into a business is amazing and rewarding in itself. But then I think, and you just said this yourself, is that the most rewarding part is when people actually tell you, I loved your podcast, I love your blog, your book like changed everything for me. And it's just such a great feeling.
It's huge because, working with corporate clients is nice, and you get to go to some nice places, and obviously the money's fairly good. But you don't really. I got to this point where I didn't really feel like I was really making that much of a difference. Yet hardly a week goes past now where I don't get an email from some salon owner somewhere who's maybe read something that I've written or watched a video or listened to the podcast, and they can range from, I put that into place and it worked really well, thank you very much, to I've had a couple of literally I was thinking of giving up. I thought I'd tried everything I could. I put these things into place, and it's absolutely changed my business. You've changed my life. And when I get those, it's just like, well, if this is not what I'm meant to be doing, then I don't know what I am supposed to be doing.
Oh, I know. So, out of like all of the different things that you help salons with, salons and spas, what do you think are like some of the big main things, your kind of like themes or topics that you especially love to help them with?
So there's really three have really kind of developed out of it. When I started Salon Business Secrets, what I wanted to do was really help people with the foundations. I have this true belief that if you get the foundations of your business right, then everything else just becomes a lot easier.
Yeah.
And certainly for a lot of beauty therapists, estheticians, hair salon owners, all those kind of things, they're probably not taught those kind of base business lessons when they're learning their trade. And so I sort of started doing things like business planning and stuff like that. But what I eventually found were the real key areas was the very practical point of actually getting clients, which I know a lot of people and yourself will talk about in terms of marketing. I don't feel I'm a marketer. I feel I talk about it in slightly more practical terms of, how to actually go out and get those clients. Yeah. The other thing I'm known for is pricing. I think there's a major issue in our industry about pricing. It's all too low. If you're going to price your prices low, you're going to struggle to make the income that you deserve. So I'm trying to change that as well. So that's another big thing I do. And then also, slightly by accident, is really the stats side of things. So helping you understand the figures and the numbers within your business to help you then interpret those and drive your business based on fact rather than just kind of, well, I think if we do this, it might work. So those are really the things. So getting clients, pricing, and the stats to help grow your business.
So really the foundations that everything else is built on.
Yeah, it's a real belief of mine. There's all these nice things on top, but if you can just nail the business plan, if you can get your processes working in place that just kind of happen every day and it just becomes a habit. If you've got a constant stream of new clients coming in, you never have to worry about that unfilled appointment column or where next week's bookings are going to come from. It becomes a lot less stressful and you get to enjoy what you do again rather than having to do your day job and also stress about the running of the business.
Yeah, definitely. So that said, Adam, the topic of today is one of these amazing, often underused ways to bring in more clients and to increase the loyalty with your current clients and get more sales. There's so many benefits to it. And today we're talking about events. So I saw that you did a podcast about this and I absolutely loved listening to it. I learned so much and I thought, you know what? I have never talked about events before with Sunny Star Marketing and I'm so curious about how to make them work. And I know that for my audience, for everyone watching, maybe they've done events before, maybe they had a great success, maybe they think, I've tried that before and it was just really stressful. It was hard. I'm not sure I want to do that again. And other people are just thinking like, I didn't even realize that events could help me so much. So first of all, why events? Why do you think and why do you know from your experience that events are so important for doing that foundational business building?
Well, it's mainly because an event, I mean, you can put events on as often as you want, but any individual event you put on should be a one-off. You can repeat them, so you could do one this year and kind of reuse it next year. But to all intents and purposes, it should seem like a one-off. So it's got that scarcity built in there. Because if you're just promoting the fact that you offer a certain massage or a certain facial, even if you're the only person that does that facial that way in your area, people know that, well, I could book it today, but I could also book it next week or the week after. Whereas with an event, it's a one-time thing. If people want in on that, they have to do it now. So it's got that scarcity built into it, really. Right. So that's kind of the main thing for me. But the thing is, you can have an event for anything. You can hold an event when you take on a new member of staff. You can hold an event to launch a new treatment. You can put on an event to, I don't know, just when you open for the first time, have a grand opening event. Yeah. You can have a summer event just to promote a new set of packages that you're offering. You can literally do an event for anything. Yeah. But it's kind of a one-time thing that you can then use your other channels, your social media channels, to promote so that people can get excited about it.
That's awesome. So they definitely, like you said, have the scarcity built into them. So that's one thing. But then on the other hand, they're also extremely flexible. So you can run an event for pretty much anything, whether it's like you said, a certain treatment, a certain service, or just a holiday or a season or anything like that. And then there's also the other side of it, which is the person to person side of it, which in our marketing, a lot of times, especially when we're doing it online, we don't get enough of that, is like the in-person sales and that kind of thing. So definitely something really unique and really fun to try out. So maybe before I ask you some more questions about how to even think about planning an event, you can tell me, in your experience, maybe with some of your clients or maybe some salons and spas that you know, can you tell us a success story of an event, what kind of event it was, and why it was so successful?
Oddly, one always springs to mind, and it was actually with a hair salon that we worked with, and they wanted to get more men into the salon, and they couldn't really think of a way to do it. And they lived in a suburb. There was a lot of kind of families around and things like that. So what they did was they put on an event for dads of young girls to show dads how to do like 5 really quick hairdos for their little girls.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is something that and it was something like I struggle with that. I could just about manage a ponytail.
Yeah.
With my little girl. And so we put on this event. It was on an evening, and we did it in a very kind of dad fashion. It was like, come along, there's some burgers, there's some beers, and it'll be a fun environment, and we'll show you how to do some sort of basic hairstyles. Mm-hmm. And it was brilliant, and it got loads and loads of guys in. And I have to admit that there was guys who came along and they were like, I just go to the salon down the road that I can rock up to any time I want, and it's £10-15 a haircut, and that's all I do. But suddenly they were coming into this salon where they'd never even been before, realizing kind of that it's a friendly place, that it's what they get for a bit more money.
Yeah.
And they said it was one of the most successful events for bringing in guys. And the great thing was they weren't talking to guys about their own hair.
Yeah.
They were just getting them in the door and introducing them to the salon, and they got so much business out of it. It worked really well.
Wow. So it really is all about those in-person relationships that you can't replace that. I mean, I love social media. I love, all this online marketing stuff. But at the end of the day, people buy from people. And one of the best ways to introduce yourself as a person is to meet someone face to face.
Absolutely. And it gets people who maybe wouldn't necessarily step through your doors. Because sometimes, and I do feel this, I think sometimes to people who don't visit clinics and salons very often, they can be a bit of a scary place. You tend not to know what might be on the other side of that door. So you can go along to a very informal event where you're not going to have to take any clothes off or anything like that, but you get to see what's on the other side of the door, and suddenly it becomes this much more friendly place, and you get to know the people behind there, and it's a fantastic way of doing it. So I really am a fan of these sort of, I guess you call them old school type ways of getting clients, but doing them in such a way that you can use them with the newer technologies like social media to really help promote them. Yeah.
So what would you say are some of the kind of hidden benefits of events for building your business?
Hidden benefits. Well, it's another thing, because of the scarcity thing, it gets people talking. Mm-hmm. So if you put on a really interesting event and you just get out in front of, say, 20% of the people in your area, people will talk about it, because again, it's that scarcity thing. If you make it interesting enough, and this is the great thing about if you do a grand opening, and I've done grand openings with salons that have been open for like 3 or 4 months. So you can open, you can sort of have a few clients in, but then you can have a grand opening and just put a new word in front of it. Mm-hmm. And suddenly it's like, if people haven't heard about you and they think, it's the grand opening, I want to go to that. And it gets people talking about you. So your reach suddenly expands. You actually get people in the community talking about you, talking about that thing you're putting on. Are you going to that grand opening event at so-and-so's new salon or whatever, new clinic or spa? So there's that side of things. It actually reaches out for you. And plus there's the softer side of it as well. Another thing I do with events, and I can talk about this in a second, is you can involve other businesses locally as well.
Oh, awesome.
So, if you want to do a bit of catering there, and there's a cafe nearby, you could maybe partner up with them. Obviously you'll have to pay for the food, but you could say, could you put a flyer up in your shop, or could you send the information out to all your clients as well? And if that business has been in town for 10-15 years, they're going to have quite a lot of contacts in the community that immediately is going to get you in front of all those people. And it's a much friendlier, much softer way than sort of saying, hey, can you send out a promotional email on my behalf, please, and I'll give you half price massages for the next year. So it's a really great way of just getting people talking about something, getting that reach out there and spreading the word, and it can be a bit of a long game. You can bring people in and they're not necessarily just going to immediately book straight away. but you're getting people to know what you do and who you are and how friendly you are and the things that you offer and why you may be different to another salon, all those things, which is so difficult to do with the short attention span of people these days when you're trying to communicate that on social media.
Yeah, so doing something different. And like you said, it might not be something that right there or right within the next week or so people are booking all these appointments with you who are new clients. It could just be, you know what, I know this place, I like this place. When the need arises, I'm going to call them first. So Steve says, we're just about to launch a grand opening. Great tips. Awesome. So for Steve, congratulations, Steve. That's exciting. So for Steve or anyone else who's looking at maybe doing a grand opening event or just like a bigger event that you have something really big going on, what are some of kind of the elements of success of a great event?
Okay. So I tend to, and I think I did this when I was talking about it, I tended not to kind of come up with specific ideas for people, because as soon as you talk about specific ideas, that kind of focuses their mind on that. And I'd rather people just be completely off the wall and creative with whatever they do for an event.
Yeah, that's true.
But there's kind of 5 key stages, I think, that you have to go through to make an event actually successful. Mm-hmm. And I brought them up on the screen so I don't forget them.
Oh, awesome.
So number 1 is to figure out why you're doing the event in the first place, which sounds like the most obvious thing in the world. Mm-hmm. It could be, even if it is I want to get more clients, or I want to promote this treatment or something like that, just really get clear in your mind why you're holding the event and kind of literally write that at the top of a piece of paper for your plan. Because
is it okay to have more than one?
Yeah, absolutely. Thing? Totally. Yeah. It's just any event, no matter how big, well, certainly if it's big, but any event, no matter how small, takes a lot of work to put on. I guarantee it will take you 3 times more work than you think it will. And that's not trying to put you off. It's worth doing it, but it will take a lot more organising than you think.
Right.
So I would definitely, don't wing it, actually have a bit of a plan. Doesn't need to be like a 100-point outlined plan, but literally start with why you're doing it in the first place. Really get clear in that in your mind, and keep referring back to that as well, so you don't go off on tangents and get muddled up.
Yeah. So I guess some of those things could be, like you said, not just bringing in new clients, but it could also be kind of like to introduce a new service to our existing clients, or just to, have some more brand awareness for people in the neighborhood near our salon, that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Another big thing that I use events for as well, I should have mentioned, is for if you've been in business for a long time and you've maybe kind of changed from what you used to do. And events are absolutely my favourite way of re-educating people in your area that you're maybe not the same business that you were when you started out. Yeah. So that could be you might be an organic salon now. You might have taken on a whole new product range. You might have changed your philosophy entirely. And if you've been in business for a long time, people will kind of think they know what you are, or think they've pigeonholed you in their brain, whereas you might be doing something completely different now. So if you can invite them into an event, get them excited, and then show them that you're doing something different, it helps get past that sort of barrier of people thinking that.
Great. Okay, so the first step is just to have it really clear in your mind. What is our goal? And that's also going to carry you, like you said, it's going to be a longer term project, so you want to have that really clear in your mind. What are the end benefits, so that halfway through you're not like, I don't even know why I'm doing this anymore. Because trust me, I don't think I've ever done an event that has been 100% fun. There's been stressful points in there at times. So if you know why you're doing it, if you've got that clear, not only will that help clarify what you're doing, but it also keep you motivated to actually see it through. Now the second part of that is to then kind of, once you understand why you're doing it, create your little mini agenda. What is it you're actually wanting to do with the event? Now this is, like I said, I don't want to kind of put ideas in people's heads. The classics are things like, if you're, say, launching a new treatment, is to sort of put on mini demonstrations of that treatment, so you can show people what they are. It can be educational, it can be a bit of fun, like the hair salon one that I was talking about. It could even just be a party. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. A loyal members event, a VIP event, any of these kind of things you can put on. But really understand what are the things you want to do in your event. Okay, so write all that down, even if it's way more than you're going to be able to do. Write all your ideas down. So would you write down like what kind of food you want to have, maybe what kind of music, what kind of decorations, just pretty much everything related to it?
Everything. Just literally dump all your ideas down on a piece of paper, so that you can kind of then look at it and go, okay, well, A, there's far too much there, or well, actually there's not enough to kind of call of an event, so maybe I need to add some things in there. So just kind of put it all down on a piece of paper. I'm a really big fan of just kind of putting it all out there so it doesn't stay in your brain. And plus, if you've got any sort of team, one of the biggest challenges I've found, certainly with salon owners, is when they put on an event, they'll kind of hold it all in their head, and then it's difficult for the other members of the team to really understand what the point is or what's actually happening. All that kind of. If it's on paper, someone else can look at it and maybe query it and go, oh, should we really have juggling fire eaters, or do we really need that? So that's the kind of thing. And then the next step to that is figure out what your budget is.
Right.
And that kind of ties in again. It's point number 2, but it ties in again, because if you know what your objective is and what you're going to get out of this, or what you hope to get out of this at the other end, and you can put some sort of monetary value on that, then that will help you figure out your budget. Because, I mean, it's slightly different if you're starting out, because if you're starting out, chances are you're going to be spending a bit more money than you're necessarily going to make on the day or on the night or something like that.
Right.
But if you can fix a budget that you're happy with, that you can work to, that works for you in terms of what you hope to gain out of the event, and stick to it, that again will save you an awful lot of stress and struggle throughout organizing the thing.
Yeah, so it's kind of a reality check of like, okay, these are all the things that I would love to do, but this is my budget, and I have to kind of work with what I have. So how do you go about deciding how much it's worth spending on an event?
Whoa, yeah, that's tricky. I mean, it's if you're, well, let's talk about a launch event then. So if it's your grand opening event, obviously your goal is to get more clients from it, things like that. I would set yourself a goal of getting a certain number of treatments booked in on the night. Or on the day, whenever you do it. I keep saying on the night. I always sort of seem to think of events.
Yeah, well, because we're thinking something swanky with fire eaters.
Thinking parties and, all that kind of thing. So on the day or whenever the event is, set yourself a goal of an actual number of physical bookings booked in. And from there, whatever your average booking is. So let's just say you say, I want to aim for 15 bookings and my average treatment value is $50. So from there, you can work out what you hope to gain immediately from the event. There'll be some other trailing stuff afterwards. But if you know that you're aiming to make, whatever it is, $650, $1,000, $1,500 from the event directly, then your budget can be whatever you want up to that. I would always aim to want to make some money out of the event itself. Not huge amounts. They're not in themselves designed to be huge money making events. They're designed for that, like I said, that longer game. But I would always want to make a bit of money. So let's say I was aiming to make $1,500 from it. I'd probably want to spend maximum $1,200 on the event to kind of bring things in. Because remember, you're going to have the recurring revenue afterwards. So it's going to pay for itself.
So would the $1,500 be essentially the revenue that you make, potential revenue from bookings and appointments, or is that like you selling tickets and drinks and that kind of thing at the event?
It'd be the revenue that you come out with pretty much directly after the event.
Okay.
So you bring up a really interesting point. If you're doing an event, always sell tickets for it.
Right.
Sell tickets, because otherwise you'll get loads of people going, yeah, I'm definitely coming to the event. If you put it on for free, and then so many people will not show up. Not because they're lying to you, but life happens, and suddenly if you've got an event on that night and then something else comes up, some work thing comes up, or you're tired, or you've had a bad day or something like that, and there's no financial consequence for you not showing up, it's so easy for people just to say,
less than half of people who, if it's a free event, probably less than half of the people who said they're going to go end up going.
Yeah, and I've battled salon owners on this for years, and they've always gone, no, if I make it free, more people will come. I was like, no, if you make it free, more people will say they're going to come, but not more people will come. So charge whatever you feel comfortable with, a small amount of money for a ticket. Now, you can then do whatever you want with that money. You can say, okay, well, let's say you charge $10 for a ticket. You can then say, okay, well, if you make a booking on the night, or if you purchase a product on the night, or whatever you want, you'll get that off your booking. So they know that it's not lost money. If someone's coming along to the event, possibly thinking that they're going to, try you out, then it's not lost money for them.
Right.
And it's a small enough amount of money that they're not worried about spending it. But I guarantee you, not only will it give you a bit of cash flow to play with to actually put the event on, but it will force people to actually say they're going to come, who really are going to come. And you always get some people not showing up, but it will mean that you get a much better attendance of serious people at the event itself.
For sure. I love the saying, people who pay attention. It's like if you don't have skin in the game, if you didn't spend any money on it, it's so easy to just throw it away just like a flyer. But if you pay for it, it's like, wow, okay, I feel more committed to this, and you kind of appreciate the event a lot more.
Absolutely. I mean, I love testing these kind of things out, and I did a test myself. So it wasn't an event for a salon or a clinic, but it was one of my own speaking events. And over the course of 3 days of a particular event, it was tricky to do, but we basically put the same talk on 3 days. And on one day we charged £25 for it in the UK, which is about $35. The next day we made it £5, which is about $7 or $8, and the final day we made it free. And we had far, far more people turn up to the most expensive one than we had to all the others.
No kidding.
Yeah, because naturally we had more people book onto the free one.
Yeah.
But I think only about 7 people showed up to the free one, whereas I think we had about 42 people on the most expensive one.
It's a win-win.
It's absolutely a win-win, because people go, okay, and they place a value on it as well. So if they see that you're willing to charge $20 for a ticket to your event, that's immediately for them going to go, oh, wow, that's going to be something special. If they're so confident that they're going to charge $20, straight away, people are going to take a bit more notice anyway. So it's worth doing it for that reason.
For sure.
And plus, if they know that they can then use that money at the event to buy something, spend something, whatever, then they know that they're not going to lose out on it. And plus, that even helps, because if you sell tickets to an event, people have kind of forgotten that they've spent that money.
Yeah.
So they're more eager to spend money on the day, on the night as well. So it really... If there's one thing I could say to everyone who's thinking of putting on an event, charge a small fee. Please charge a small fee.
It makes a huge difference.
It really will make a huge difference.
How do you normally do that? Do you actually sell physical tickets like at the salon, or do you do something like Eventbrite or like online payments?
The last few I've done, I've just done Eventbrite. It's so easy and pretty much free to do if you're not putting on a massive event, and people can just sign up themselves. So send them a link, put it on your Facebook page, all those kind of things. It's sometimes nice. What I've done as well, another thing you can do with events, if you can get 2 benefits out of them. So if you're putting on an event to say launch a promotion or launch a new treatment, but you've got kind of 10 VIP guests who love everything that you do, come in 4 times a month, all these kind of things. You could actually have special VIP tickets printed up and just send one to them. It's a really nice thing to do. It will make them feel incredibly special. So you could actually use one event for 2 purposes, to kind of strengthen that relationship with loyal clients, but also introduce it to new clients as well.
They definitely deserve a reward for their loyalty, and it just kind of like, wow, they really do appreciate me.
Absolutely, and who does physical printed named things anymore? It's such a rare thing to do. So when that happens, people love it. It's something really, really special. So if you've got 10, 15 super loyal clients, get something nice printed up for them. Take the time, put it in an envelope, post it to them, and that'll make them feel really special.
Nice. That's a great tip. Okay, so far we've gone, number 1 is figure out your goals. Number 2, just write everything down, get it all out, like come up with the craziest ideas, anything goes. And then number 3 is, okay, reality check, let's set a budget, and let's figure out what realistically we can actually do.
Absolutely, that's it. And then commit to sticking to these things as well. Don't sort of go, well, we've come up with a new idea, we'll stick some more budget in there. Decide where it's going to be, stick to it. You can always do a bigger event next time. That's fine. But, stick to it on this one. So, and then the next point is basically within your budget and within your plan, create that schedule and stick to it. And also plan much more in advance. You cannot put an event on in 2 weeks. Don't think, I fancy putting an event on now because I've listened to Adam and Stephanie say this, I'll put one on in 2 weeks. Don't do it. It will drive you insane. Give yourself at least, well, depending on the size, obviously, but I'd say give yourself at least 4 weeks. Because you're going to need time to arrange things, plan things, do these first few steps, then get the word out and sell tickets and all these things. So it's always going to take a lot longer than you think. So give yourself time and then stick to that schedule. Decide when things need to be done by and get them done by that time. If it looks like it's going to be too difficult, you've probably put too much in the event.
Yeah.
So
there's
that
keep tendency to kind of like want to, especially if you're doing it for the first time, you just want to do it right. You want to do something really exciting. You want to really get people talking. Like, I totally understand the desire to do that, but especially if you've never done an event before, maybe it's better to keep it simple at the beginning.
Keep it really simple, because I guarantee you there's two things are going to happen. You're either going to try and cram so much stuff in there that it's just even the best event planner in the world would struggle with it. In which case, if you tell people all these amazing things are going to happen and then they show up and even one of them doesn't happen that they were expecting, they're going to be disappointed. Whereas if you undersell it and then maybe, put something extra on that they weren't expecting, then immediately you're exceeding their expectations. They're much happier people. So don't try and overpromise. Just keep it simple to start with if you've never done an event. Sneak something in there that they weren't expecting, and then immediately you've blown them away. Yeah,
that's awesome. Okay, so that's step number 4, and then what's the last step?
There's kind of two more. I kind of created an extra spare one in there. So the next one is don't try and do it all on your own. So build a committee. So even if you are a solo therapist and you're independent, and there's just you in your business, get some help. That's what friends are for, if nothing else. So you're going to drive yourself insane trying to organise it all on your own. So even if it's you get your friends involved for the planning stage and the outlining your budget, it's someone else to kind of bounce those ideas off, to sense check stuff, to kind of rein you in and keep you in line. So bring someone in, even if it's your accountant, your friend, your mum, your sister, your brother, whoever it is that can help. At least get someone else involved with you, just so that they know what's going on, that you can they can keep an eye on you, check the schedule, make sure that you're on track, give you that accountability. But if you do have a team, absolutely get them involved. They know your business as well. If they understand what you're trying to achieve here, get them involved in the planning process, get them to throw their ideas in as well, because if you've outlined what you're trying to achieve and a rough idea for the event, teams can come up with so many better ideas than just one person on their own.
Yeah, for sure.
Some of them are going to be off the wall and crazy, and you can go, okay, we put a pencil mark next to that one. But they're going to come up with some great ideas, and plus it's going to make your team feel involved in the event as well, so they're going to be more excited about it. They're going to tell more people about it. They're going to share that on their own social media profiles. And I heard a stat recently, it was something like if you've got a small staff, you get them involved in sharing things about your business, you'll reach 7 times more people than you can on your own.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
So I'm always a huge fan of, if you've got any sort of team, even if it's one person, get them involved as well. If you're completely on your own, find someone that's slightly reliable and get them involved as much as you can in the process, just so that you're not doing it on your own.
Awesome. Okay,
that's right. Build your committee. And
build your committee.
And then finally, it is that marketing and promotion. Don't just think that you're putting on an event and you've put a couple of flyers about it and you've published it in the local newspaper that suddenly loads of people are going to come along. The great thing is it suddenly gives you something to talk about on all your social media channels. And don't just promote the event. Don't just be that person who kind of goes, come to my event. There's loads of great things. And the brilliant thing about the planning process, the fact it takes so long, is you can actually mention the little things that you're doing. You can literally say, today I was booking the caterer, today I was out buying the balloons, just hired the music for the event, or whatever it is. And it's little things you can talk about that are kind of promoting the event without kind of ramming it down people's throats all the time. People
love getting those kind of updates, like photos, behind the scene things, like little live videos. There's so many different things that people genuinely care, like what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, even when you're not like on the salon floor. So there's so many little updates that you can do about that. Like you said, it's like news without being salesy.
Absolutely. So do the marketing, do the promotion, sell the tickets. Even if it's just for a small amount of money, it will definitely help with the number of people who physically turn up. And plus, because you're selling the tickets, you'll be able to gauge how many people are coming. And one of my favorite things to do is to obviously set the maximum number of people that you can have, which is probably going to be dictated by your space. And if you sell out, tell people you've sold out. Nothing gets people talking more than any event that sells out. So as soon as you kind of hit your numbers, put a sold out post on there, and even if you can't cram any more people in, it will highlight you as being that person that puts on those events that sell out. So next time you do one, people will just jump on board so much quicker.
Oh, that is so great. I love it. So those are 6 steps to essentially start to finish, how to get it done. It will take at least a month to plan out this event and make it come to life. And then do you have any tips for like during the actual event, what people can do to make sure that it goes smoothly?
Well, what I've done, Steph, actually is I've put together, if it's okay with you, I'll put together an actual checklist for your people I will share in the notes. Because those 6 points are kind of the main heading ones. But then I realised, I was like, well, actually, that's just in the organising the event. There's then the actual event itself. So I have actually put together a little checklist for you that starts
we'll put it in the link in the description of the video, and then also in the comments too.
So I've put on the day of the event things like, get your staff together for a full briefing. So even if it is just you and your brother and your mum who's doing it, actually get people together before the event. Make sure everyone's totally clear on what's happening and when and all that kind of thing. Don't just presume because you've organised everything, you've booked the caterer and all that everyone else knows what's happening. Make sure you've gone through everyone's responsibilities, what they're doing at the event and what to do in case something goes wrong. Check the event essentials, does your sound system work? Are your decorations all put up and they're not going to fall down? Is your food and beverage all booked and has it arrived? Is everything they're expecting to be there and you know where it is and all those kind of things? Okay,
so there's a lot of different moving parts, but it's good to have that checklist so that you know all the important things.
Because then when you're actually in the event, you can be you can socialise with the people who are at the event. You don't have to be going, oh no, just remembered, I forgot to do that, I'm going to go over here and do that. You can be a bit more relaxed. And then the thing that probably people forget about the most is there's a really important step after the event as well, because there's all the follow-up stuff. There's the practical stuff like, tidying up and getting everything set back to normal and all that kind of thing and returning things to your suppliers. But then there's the sending out thank you emails to people. That's a huge thing. Even if people did book and for some reason they couldn't attend, just sending thank you to people for booking is a huge thing. Thank you to everyone who turned up on the night. Thank you to everyone who booked, all those kind of things. You can put that out on your social media as well, because then it's showing people how much of a success this event was. So if they heard about it, didn't book, didn't come along to it, they'll just go, oh, well, that sounds like it was something special. I'll definitely make sure I come along to the next one. Check your budget. How closely did you stick to it? Did you go wildly over because you just started spending crazy money at the last minute? And also track those results. Go back and look at that, whatever the one thing that you were trying to achieve in the first place, 1, 2, 3, did you do it? Because so many times you can get just caught up in the event itself and then it happens, you're like, oh my god, I'm exhausted, and that's what you remember. You just remember how exhausted you were after the event, rather than going, hey, we wanted to get 10 new bookings, we got 23, awesome, how good did we do? So
that carries really you on until the next event of like, okay, this actually worked, now we can do it even better.
And then equally, just like you held kind of hopefully a bit of a briefing with your staff in the first place, or your team or whoever helped you out, hold a debrief as well. So you may not have seen everything that happened. You may have been focused on whatever you were doing, but come together. What worked really well? What didn't work? What kind of fell apart? What could you do better next time? And write all that stuff down, because I guarantee you won't remember it the next time you come to do an event. So if you write that down, next time you come to do an event, you'll be so much more prepared. You'll know exactly what to do. So it's a hugely important step that most people miss out, is that, did you achieve what you set out to do? What worked, what didn't work, what can we do better next time?
Yeah, awesome. So that debrief, definitely. One thing I wanted to ask you, Adam, a lot of people will probably have the main goal for their event to get more appointments booked, to make more sales, etc. What can the salon owner and their team do during the event to make sure that they're reaching that goal and encouraging bookings? So what things can they do during the event to kind of encourage that to happen?
So I always have some event-only promotions on.
Okay.
And I don't mean just give discounts. I'm on the record so many times as saying that I don't like discounts. I'm not completely against them if you use them strategically, but, have value-added offers going on. So if someone books a treatment on the day, physically gives you some money as a deposit, so you know it's going to happen, upgrade the treatment for them. So whether that's an additional mini facial, whether it's a longer version of the treatment, upgrade it for them so that they're getting something a bit more, and make it really worth the while as well, so that they've actually got a reason to book it on the night. stick to your guns on it as well. Don't be like, oh, well, yeah, it's kind of on the night, but, if you book tomorrow, if you let us know, we'll do it as well. Make sure people know that it's only on the night, and stick to your guns. If you get, it doesn't matter
if you've got a few cocktails in hand, you got to be strict about it.
100%, because if you get the reputation of being like, oh, well, I'll sit on the fence, I'll think about it, I'll call you in a week, and I'll still get the same deal, then your ability to do that the next time is so much more reduced. But if you say, no, tonight only, if you book this in, you will get X additional treatment or takeaway gift or free product or whatever it is, free consultation, whatever you can kind of upgrade them to, but make sure people know that they only get that if they book on the night, if they take up any offers that are there for you.
Cool. Awesome. So last question that I had for you, Adam, you kind of mentioned it at the beginning, and I feel like it would be really important for people to learn how to put on a really great event working and partnering with other local businesses. Now, I know this is probably like a huge topic, but maybe you can just give us a few pointers about how to make your event even more successful by partnering with other businesses.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is generally something that I like to do as a way to kind of get out there in the community, especially if you're a new business, is to go and just talk to other businesses. Now, this comes back to another thing that I talk about a lot, your ideal client, and I know you talk about it as well. So if you understand who your clients are, who you're actually trying to get in, figure out what other local businesses those type of clients are also going to frequent. So there's two ways to do this. One of the ways I like to do this is to actually partner with someone on the event. And this works really well if you have quite small premises and you're not going to be able to, say, fit many people into your own premises for an event. Partner with, for example, a local restaurant. Put on the event there. You probably have to pay them some money or something like that. But if you can put on the event there, you can obviously get more people in.
Right.
You'll be able to get them to share it with their clientele as well. Maybe put on an offer for them. And make the event bigger because there's two of you holding it.
Right.
Another great way is literally just to speak to 3 or 4 local businesses and ask them if they'll help you promote the event. Maybe, give them a special offer to send out to their clients as well, or a discount on the tickets or something like that, just so that you can get them involved. But local businesses are a fantastic key to getting out there in the community because they've already built that trust with your ideal clients.
Yeah.
So you can kind of borrow that by them saying, okay, this is someone we recommend, or, to our, and what I also like to do as well is I always like to kind of say, don't send it out to your entire client list, make it something special. Send it to your top 200 clients.
Right.
Because then they get to say they've sent it to their top 200 clients. It makes their clients feel special.
Yeah.
They get to look good because they're offering their clients something that they can't get anywhere else. So that's another thing I like to do. But I would say, depending on your needs, if you need a bit of space, then partnering with a local business is great for that reason.
Yeah.
If you just want to kind of spread the word a bit more, then just pick 2 or 3. Don't go wild. Don't make it available everywhere in every shop in your community, because that'll kind of spoil that exclusivity. But pick 1, 2 or 3 businesses that you work with, that you feel there's an alignment in terms of your ideal client. Speak to them. What can you do? What can you promote with them? And then on the day, at the event itself, see if there's anything you can do to sort of help promote them as well to the other people who come along. So it's kind of a 50-50. And I love partnering with businesses. I think it's a brilliant way of really low cost marketing and cross marketing and all those kind of things.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if you do find that perfect business that's like, they really align with what your philosophy is, kind of what your goals are, what kind of clientele you have, even what kind of like style and design you have as a business. It kind of like creates this perfect harmony between what you're doing and what they're doing, and it really speaks to kind of that ideal client that you have in common. One thing that I've seen a lot of businesses do nowadays is do kind of like contests where they're partnering with other businesses. So kind of, let's say I'm a facial bar and I partner with 2 other businesses. One of them is like a yoga studio, and one of them is like a clean like juice company or something like that. You partner together, do a contest where you're each giving away something, and then you promote it to each other's audiences as well. And you could even do that within an event as well. So you could put together like a package, like a special like raffle or draw or something like that as well.
Yeah, that's a great idea. But also don't just think within your industry and kind of things. There's some great kind of completely off the wall examples that I've had. My favorite, I tell everyone about this. It's not necessarily the way to go, but this worked brilliantly. One client I was working with realized that their ideal client was women who were between around about 38 and I think 47, and they realized that a lot of their clients were divorcees.
Right.
So they slightly randomly partnered with a local law firm who dealt with a lot of divorce cases, and actually put an offer on for them. So any woman, this is probably a terrible thing, any woman who came in and got had a divorce settlement all fixed, they got basically a free afternoon in this spa.
Oh wow, that actually kind of works too, because it's like after all that stress, you need that kind of like relax.
So the legal firm got to kind of use that as a thing that they used to promote themselves. The spa obviously got someone who was, just newly kind of sense of lease of life, or that kind of thing, and it works so well for both clients, and it's never ever something that you think of, but I love those kind of off the wall, slightly more random partnerships.
Thinking outside of the box. That's amazing. So great. So Tabitha says, love the VIP idea, so the little tickets that you send to your VIP members. Steve says, great live feed, cheers Steve. And then Marina says, great tips. So it sounds like everybody is loving all of these amazing ideas, Adam. Thank you so much. It has been such a good roadmap to learn kind of start to finish what you need to do, those 6 steps, and then some ideas for making your event even more successful.
No problem.
Yeah. So do you have any parting words for us, or any other hints of advice that you have kind of learned from your experience with helping to plan events?
I think we've pretty much got everything in there. We'll put a link to the checklist in the notes. If you want to go and find it, it's salonbusinesssecrets.com/mavens. There's no kind of email or anything like that. It literally just downloads the checklist, so there's nothing to fill in. But we'll put a link in there as well.
Yep.
But yeah, I tried to pack everything in there that I could think of. I guess the only other thing I'd say was, as much as I'm saying sort of the strict things of stick to the budget and all those kind of things, be creative. Don't just do what you've seen another salon do or another business do. Be as off the wall, as creative as you can, but obviously staying true to your ideal clients. But yeah, that's why I don't necessarily talk about a specific type of event other than if I've been to one.
Yeah.
Because I love to see what people can then come up with off the back of the kind of the more rigid parts of running an event, and see what they actually do.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on here with us, Adam. I'm sure that I will see you again, whether it's on your podcast, another live video. I would love to have you back on the show again. So again, thank you so much. And guys, if you want to check out Adam, I've linked to Salon Business Secrets in the description of this video. And then again, look for the link to download Adam's checklist so that you can make sure that your next event is awesome from A to Z. So thank you so much, Adam, for being here. And I will see you guys again next week. Bye, everyone.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.